Pro-democracy rally kicks off in Hong Kong as the June 4th massacre memorial edges closer. The opposition urged the Barnett government to expand the Botox Clinic in Princess Margaret Hospital. Thanks for watching.
Also in the newscast, Eritreans protest at Parliament House demanding democracy in their country. And South America's tallest skyscraper is under construction in Chile.
This is the Evening News.
Good evening. Approximately 2,100 demonstrators took to the streets of Hong Kong to express their pro-democracy stand. The organizer Lee Cheuk-yan has speculated there will be 150,000 citizens attending this year's June 4th Beijing Massacre Memorial in Victoria Park. Hong Kong correspondent Laurent has more.
Hong Kong Alliance in Support of Patriotic Democratic Movements of China held the March for Democracy in China on Sunday. They protested from Victoria Park to the new headquarters of Hong Kong government, urging the Beijing government to improve its human rights status and release civil rights activists. On the other hand, there were mainland Chinese joined the protest and said he cherished the freedom of speech in Hong Kong. Binding white flowers on bars in front of the new headquarters of Hong Kong government and gathering at around 5 p.m., the protesters expressed their condolences to the past Tiananmen mothers. The chairman of the alliance, Lee Cheuk-yan, was satisfied that there was around 2,000 participants this year. He also criticized the deterioration of human rights status on the mainland, not to mention the plight of the Chinese civil rights activist Chen Guangcheng. He also guessed that there will be over 150,000 people joining the commemorating ceremony. He also received the no objection letter from the police force and will look into it and see if we can raise the accessibility of Victoria Park before and during the ceremony. Laurent, DHK News, Hong Kong.
Back to Perth now, and the state opposition have urged the Barnett Government to expand the Botox Clinic in Princess Margaret's Hospital after 129 children suffering from cerebral palsy have had to wait 2 years for major Botox treatments. WA Health Minister Kim Hames admits the service demand has increased and said he understands that parents are frustrated.
Up to 2 years is the time more than 100 children in WA with cerebral palsy have to wait to receive Botox treatments at Princess Margaret Hospital. This has caused major stress in parents whose children cannot access the treatment. Such is the case of Isabella, a 3-year-old who was diagnosed with the condition 2 years ago. Isabella has been on waitlist for 14 months now, a period in which she could have improved muscle articulation and learning ability if she would have get the treatment. After 1 year on waitlist, her mother Penny was told she'd have to wait at least another 12 months. But Penny wasn't the only one who was told to wait. Karina, whose daughter also has cerebral palsy, was told she'd be on waitlist for 12 months.
It's imperative that the government expedites this waitlist, not just for Isabella, but for all these children with cerebral palsy.
It's infuriating. It's when you know that something as simple and really not terrifically costly is out there, it's available to you or to your child.
Princess Margaret Hospital is currently treating 260 children with cerebral palsy. And although funding for health has increased by 7.5%, this is not enough to cope with increasing demand.
Shadow Health Minister Roger Cook says the government should prioritise this issue by expanding the service and allocate funds that will allow more patients to be treated.
The earlier we get to these kids, the better and the outcomes and more effective the treatment. But these kids are waiting between 18 and 24 months just to be seen by this small clinic in Princess Margaret Hospital. This is another example of a health system failing to cope with the demand for its services.
But Health Minister Kim Hames responded saying that $500,000 will be allocated from the funds of this year's state budget.
We've been getting letters from parents talking about this issue since late last year. I instructed the health department to look at how we can fix it. They've got a business case that's now prepared that's with the Director General of Health. And the good news is that with the increase in funds we've got in this year's budget coming, we'll have the funds to be able to put that program in place.
Alexandra, Mollo, DHK News.
WA Corrective Services Minister Terry Redmond has announced a $7.5 million program for the next 4 years to keep Aboriginal youth away from crime. Another $920,000 funding has been approved by the state government to upgrade the Community Work Centre in Riverbank, providing offenders the opportunity to participate in community activities.
Terry Redmond has recently announced that the government is putting in $7.5 million to re-educate young Indigenous offenders to keep them away from prisons. Outcare, a non-government organisation, will be running the new program called LifeWorks. Terry Redmond speaks on its benefits.
I'm very pleased that these resources will go towards intervention that will get people that are normally on the streets doing the wrong thing back into jobs, back engaged, back where they should be, such that they're making a contribution to the community.
The program will be running in parts of Western Australia, which would contain a bigger community of Indigenous people.
We're going out to the major regions of disadvantage, which is Kwinana and Armidale. There's a lot of young Indigenous people out there who are in the same spot as the ones out of Middle Swan. So it gives us a chance to do a metropolitan-wide program and really hopefully be able to sell this sort of work for the future.
Raphael, DHK News.
Mental Health Minister Helen Morton has launched WA's first campaign against cannabis use. The campaign gives cannabis users tips on how to quit the addiction by encouraging users to do more exercise. The program targets youths, adults and parents, aiming to raise awareness about the harms of cannabis use and laws on cannabis possession. According to the media statement, cannabis was Australia's most popular illicit drug in 2010.
Eritrean demonstrators have rallied outside Parliament House demanding democracy and freedom in their own country. Eritrea is one of the most repressed states in the world, with strong restrictions in freedom of expression and religious persecution. Timothy Seow has the details.
Eritrea, an independent state that gained its freedom from Ethiopia in 1993 through the UN-facilitated referendum, has been experiencing a hard time ever since. Its political unrest in the state has left many of its citizens suffering ever since its independence. Was it a wise decision to become an independent state? Osman Ahmad shares with us about the challenges faced with regards to democracy and justice in the state.
It's more than corruption, it's just like a regime similar to the North Korean, it's a totalitarian regime.
The state has more than 10,000 people in prison cells made up of political prisoners, ministers, journalists, just to name a few. It has also implemented a shoot and kill policy for those who try to escape the border.
Anybody who asks for freedom or speak out about the problems that exist in Eritrea, they definitely get either killed or just put in prison,
Eritrea has become one of the most closed and repressive states in the world, with no independent civil society, freedom of press, speech, movement, and has also disallowed any human rights organization to operate. The unrest in the state has seen many sufferings from Eritreans ever since it gained its independence. Timothy Seow, DHK News.
The tallest building in South America is under construction in Chile's capital city, San Diego. The 300-metre building will be the second highest in the Southern Hemisphere, behind the Q1 Tower on Australia's Gold Coast. Apart from office space and 2 hotels, the centre's shopping mall will also have restaurants, supermarkets and a movie theatre. Chile correspondent Ramir Perez has more.
Costanero Center is an ongoing development, and the construction of skyscrapers being built in the Sanhattan Financial District of Santiago, Chile, will be 300 meters tall, making the tallest building in South America when it is complete, and the second tallest in the Southern Hemisphere. This is only behind Australia's Q1 on the Gold Coast. The slow economy put a stop to the construction progress, which started in 2008. For the mixed-use commercial development. With financing now under control, a press release from Cencosud, the developer, says the mall will open in November of this year. and the rest of the tower, including the tallest Torre Costanera, will open by December. The building will include a shopping mall with restaurants and cinemas, 2 hotels, 2 shopping markets and office space. Cencosud says nothing about the terrible impact that this project will have on the vehicle circulation. Daily traffic jams now lasting hours around the complex. The opening will make it at least 30% worse. The mine investor Horst Pullman, known for his greediness, refused to pay for the minimum necessary congestion mitigation work, blaming the past and the present governments for the soon will come collapse. And several organizations are calling a boycott to this man. From the tallest building of South America, Brian Ramirez, Santiago, Chile.
Recapping our main stories, approximately 2,100 Hong Kongers took to the streets demanding Beijing to improve human rights and release jailed activists. It is understood that some mainlanders have also come to Hong Kong and joined the demonstration. And that's how the world looks tonight.
From the DHK family, good evening.
Good night.